Hello, welcome Exiles to the damage update to the Mana Righteous Fire build. We finally have it, the Indigon helmet, the key to scaling damage with Mana Righteous Fire. This helmet unlocks quite a lot of damage potential because Mana Righteous Fire scales with percent spell damage, which means if we can spend a lot of mana, we can get a lot of damage. The math breaks down to if you can spend up to 16,000 mana in a 4-second window, you can get 2,000% damage from this weapon. Now, the way we are utilizing this is specifically snapshotting damage when we need extra single target on bosses. We have enough damage where we run through a map, we're just going to clear things as we just go through them. But when we get to the boss, we want that extra boost of single target. So all we really need to do is proc Arcane Cloak, which spends a lot of our mana pool right here, and then place the Scorching Ray. So you'd go up to a boss, you Flammability, Arcane Cloak, you Scorching Ray, and all of a sudden your tooltip is actually going to be pretty dang decent. Now I'm going to try to show this in real time as it happens, but when I press this Arcane Cloak, you'll notice two things occur. Scorching Ray, which has a base cost of 11, all of a sudden has a base cost of 200. So when we press it, that makes Scorching Ray able to scale our mana cost. You'll notice if I'm casting it right now, Scorching Ray, it's not going to do enough enough mana cost per second to scale or ramp our cost very fast. You see it ramps very, very slowly. But if I press Arcane Cloak, all of a sudden it costs a lot and it can be used to ramp the percent damage from this item. You'll notice as you spend more mana, you also increase your mana cost. So it's this loop where it feeds back and you spend more and more and more, and you get more and more damage from it. So pretty simply, we run up to a boss, we proc Flammability, we proc our Arcane Cloak, and then we start casting, and you'll notice that damage ramp as we hold down the cast, it goes up and up and up, and all of a sudden we're dealing 2, 3 times, 4 times the damage we would be dealing because it has so much percent damage increase on this item compared to our tree itself. It's not like we're slacking on percent damage. We have 2 clusters on percent damage. We have a decent amount of percent damage from Divine Guidance from Hyro. We have a decent amount of percent damage from spell damage and LE damage on our weapon. But even so, there's so much percent damage on Indigon itself that it's a massive damage multiplier. It will also help us be very, very efficient later on as we scale our character's mana and energy shield up. This will remain a very powerful item to snapshot damage. The other nice thing about this is a lot of times, a lot of skills, if you want to get a lot of damage out of Indigon, you need some instantaneous leech to sustain it. With Arcane Righteous Fire, it's just always on. So no matter what we do, we are getting that damage scaling, and it's always going to be dealing damage even if we spend our mana down to 0. Now, this doesn't come without its downsides. Downside number 1 is when you put on Indigon, you have opportunity cost. You give up the ability to use Mind Spiral or a very good rare helmet. So we lost 2,000 energy shield and we lost like 600-700 mana. So it did have a downside in opportunity cost. But it also has another downside in terms of chaos damage being a lot more dangerous. You just kind of have to be somewhat aware of what monsters deal damage. In chaos, that is. For example, I know Uber Elder, there's no chaos damage in that fight. So if I go in there and I start spending my mana, I can spend my mana all the way down to 0, ramp that damage up, and I'm okay with that situation because I know nothing's going to hit me with chaos damage and kill me. But if I'm doing something like a Chimera, and Chimera can do some poison damage, then I want to be a little bit more careful where I maybe just Arcane Cloak, I get the exposure, and then I run around a bit. So that way we still have a mana pool to tank some chaos hits, if that makes sense. You have to think about it a little bit more. You can't full greed damage on every single boss. Just be a little bit conscientious about what boss you're fighting and whether or not it's dangerous for this character to whether or not you can greed full damage. Later on in the character, we will be moving to a rare chess piece that will have the Esh mod. Chaos damage cannot bypass while not on low life, and this will mean you don't need to think about it at all because chaos damage just won't go to your mana pool ever. But while we're wearing Ivory Tower for the vast majority of the progression of this character, you have to think about that a little bit. All in all, this is still a massive upgrade to the character because all of a sudden we go from killing Guardian level bosses in like 10-12 seconds to killing them in 3 or 4 seconds. You know, it's way better DPS wise. And it really starts getting you to the point where you can maybe think, okay, maybe we can start trying to do Ubers or T17s. I put this on and I immediately said, I'm going to go try some T17s. Now, I got slapped in some T17s and Ubers in terms of my defensive ability, but the damage was there. So we still need to start working towards getting ourselves like a recover on block shield and some better defensive layers, but this does take you to the damage level where you can comfortably have enough damage where you can do Ubers. But now we just need to get our defenses to the point where we can get away with standing in a lot of things and just delete the bosses, if that makes sense. Right now, I am not wanting to play super mechanically well, but for Ubers, at this current defensive level, we do need to play the fights somewhat mechanically well to succeed, if that makes sense. Another thing I want to say is for this character, we have reached, I think, the point where we've gotten most of our easy upgrades done. A lot of these things like Foulborn Kikazaros, Legacy of Furies, Ivory, these were some easy, straightforward, just a little bit of currency farm and we slap them on and we go. We are now entering the part where we need to scale these numbers up quite a bit, but to do that, we need to start looking for some min-maxy upgrades. I'm talking fractured clusters. Those things they could take an entire day just to make a couple clusters. So there's a lot of time investment that's going to go into that. I'm talking about, you know, a nice recover on block shield. I'm talking about really high-end rares, like maybe when we want to start thinking about helicals, stuff like that, that's going to take a lot more time to grind out and farm these upgrades. So going forward, we're going to space our next update videos to be however long it takes me to get to a fairly significantly upgraded version of this character. So you have it, you know, I don't want to just do a couple daily updates where I just do, oh, I changed one piece of gear. So I'm going to space it out a little bit more and be like, okay, few days later, however long it is, now we did a lot of upgrades. This is the changes we did. This is how the tree changed. That's the idea. I'm going to space out the update videos now to when we make bigger upgrades. And of course, if you want, you can always import my character or come into my stream if you want to see the current version of the build as we are running it. So that's the plan. This update was the Indigon. You farm it from Uber Elder. It's like a 1 in 8 drop from Uber Elder. We did, I think, 6 Uber Elders where we ended up getting a better drop in, I think we did Dread and we got the Wine Gold Flask that I sold that and I bought an Indigon. But then we ended up dropping one as well in those Uber Elders we did. I think next, I'm not sure what I'm going to farm. I haven't quite decided whether or not I want to do Harbinger for Fraction Orbs, Bestiary for like Morrigans and Creature Chimerals and stuff like that, which is really useful for crafting. Bristle Matron's very useful for crafting. Or do I want to start looking at something like Harvest for Life Force? Either way, we got some farming we got to do. We got some stuff we got to start working towards. And this will be the last daily upload. And we'll start looking to space these uploads out a bit more as we make more significant upgrades to the character. So I will still be making videos on this character, but don't be surprised if it takes a few days before the next update video. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying Pox League or anyone who's been trying out the Mana Righteous Fire build. And yeah, till next time, take care, Exiles. Peace out and have a good one.